Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I was pulling it up.
Yeah, I know.
It is bigger. It's Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. WPCA's regular meeting via WebEx and in person. There's a posted agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the posted agenda? Seeing none,
Motion to approve.
yeah,
Good.
we're on item number 2, approval of the March 20th regular meeting minutes.
Motion to accept the March 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Ron, it's unanimous. Item 2B, approval of the April 2nd special meeting minutes.
Make the motion to approve the April 2nd, 2024 special meeting minutes.
Second. Second by Chris, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Number 3, old business. Is there any old business? I don't see anything.
No, it's not.
Moving on to item 4, new business. Item A, to hear, consider, and act on a potential residential building with the maximum proposal of 80 two-bedroom units at 168 Kings Drive.
We have a representative. Everybody.
Good evening. My name is Jim Casides, representing the owners of 168 Kings Drive here in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's for a potential new project. This is our first step to make sure that we have enough sewer capacity in front of our, or down gradient from our project to hook up to sewer. We overestimated here for 80 units. I don't see how that's going to happen, but just to make sure that we have capacity, we were directed by staff to install 2 meters. I believe you have a map in front of you. Basically showing where our property is in red and the 2 meters down gradient from ours. Ground flow from our property. Both those meters came back with positive results, meaning after we added our flow, multiplied that by a factor of 4 and added it to the existing flow during a significant storm. We found that one section would only be at 5.62% capacity, and the other section would be at 46.7. Both half with all the factors and whatnot. And we don't have plans yet. We don't even have a survey yet. But like I said, this is our first stop here to get your blessing so we can move on with the rest of our material. And would gladly answer any questions you have.
Any questions? Chris?
And your let's see, your letters here, existing capacity verification on this. The first paragraph here, the gallons per day, you have a maximum increased flow of. And there I'm reading 1,450,258. I'm assuming that's a typo and it should have been something different from down below.
Which letter is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, here's this one.
Which one is
Right
it?
here.
Chris, which report is it? The
It is
capacity?
the
Yes. that is-
capacity,
yes.
capacity verification for estimated flow increase. There. I just want to verify that that's a miss,
Yes, that is
that is a typo, and then the proposed flow increase would be 61,032.
correct.
Okay,
That's
not the
correct. Yeah,
million.
I'm not sure how that got in there.
450.
Yes. That's a big deal. Yes,
Yeah.
that is a thing.
I just want to note that. And then on that, where did you get your 2.61 people dwelling per unit? Is that from us?
Yes, that comes from.
That's our IMX.
Correct. Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
You have anything?
I think, Jim, you answered my question sort of When is this project, do you have any feeling for how far out it is?
Um,
And it'll be apparent later when I talk about something else,
Okay.
why I'm asking the
I have
question.
a feeling that in the next 6 months or so, we will be coming back
Okay.
for with plans to planning and zoning, if I could estimate. 6 to 9 months.
For 9 months, okay. And if you may, can I ask the second question, but it's not to Jim.
Okay.
It's going to be to either John or to our Director of Public Works. And it's simply, this project, I believe, comes through that Thorpe through Ruane pipe, which we've had for 5 years, has been, I'll call it problematic in that we've never been able to get a camera through it where it dips. Now, I was happy to see it's back on the list. It was not on the list when we got financing from the town, but it appears to be back on the list. Is that going to be a problem for us? Do we know? And this is the one that's been, John, it's been out there for 5 years.
So my quick answer is no, we don't know.
Okay,
And it's not unlike a lot of other conditions in town that we don't know about. So it's on the list. If it became a chronic issue, we would have to address it in the same fashion that we're addressing other surprises that are on your agenda this evening.
okay. And the only thing I will say is this one's a little different in my mind because that pipe goes through the wetlands. If that pipe is compromised, it's not like a different pipe in town where it's in the ground somewhere. That one's heading out to Long Island Sound. That's my only concern. So I would ask, when we get those new monitors, those flow monitors that we approved in, I think, last meeting, March maybe, we can get one on each side? And get that commitment to,
February. We didn't have a March meeting.
February. No, we didn't have an April meeting.
Meeting.
Right, okay.
Whenever we've got monitors
You're right.
coming.
Yeah,
Will those monitors give us the answer if we put one on one end and one on the other?
absolutely.
No, the wet weather flow through that pipe.
Okay.
One thing I just want to interject, they did meet their rain events and they met them with gusto because the first one was 3.12 inches and the second one was 3/4, so they got it and they got it good.
Got a good reading. Yeah, I'm absolutely not concerned where they did the monitoring. I'm just more concerned with that wetlands pipe. That's my only concern.
And even though he's not here, I'd like to thank Bill Hurley and his group for double checking the calcs here and just making sure that everything is up to what we wanted it to be.
Curiosity, and if nobody knows the answer to this question, from the point we identify a problem, how long would it take to replace that pipe? It's 180 feet, 36-inch pipe. It's through the wetlands though. Again, do we need permits and things like that?
All local permits.
Local,
Nothing, oh, that's right, too. Okay.
local permits? Oh, that's good. Thank you. Helps. Faster, I would hope.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on,
I mean, I'm just worried. I got both of them. I'm just
we
worried.
have some concerns about that pipe bellying or something. I mean, I was gonna say like lining is a potential option through there. It's just, we don't know how.
We just don't know.
Right.
There's a
If
dip in
it's-
it. We can't get the
right.
camera through it.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well, we can, it's just we can't see anything.
Yeah.
If we couldn't get it through,
Severe.
then we would know that there's leaking. All right, I think, are we done? Any other questions? Joe, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I would.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion to allow the proposed development located at 168 Kings Drive for a proposed residential structure consisting of 80 two-bedroom units, potential,
Maximum.
Thanks.
to connect to the Fairfield sewer system. This approval will be valid for 2 years from today. After 2 years, the applicant must reapply for an extended approval. If an extension of time is requested, the WPCA at its sole discretion may require an updated sewer capacity analysis. The applicant will be required to pay the INI fees in effect at the time the permits are issued, and the fixed INI fees will be waived for this project if the permits are issued within the initial 2-year period.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Can I have a discussion?
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 Okay.
Nice try.
You said, 82 bedroom units.
Two.
Up to 82 bedroom units. So what happens if you want to put a 1-bedroom unit in?
We would have to come back, not to you, but to staff, with a revised I letter, with what the exact flow, potential,
But are we,
projected flow. will be.
and I'm just trying to get this, are we approving the units or are we gonna approve the gallons per day?
Units. It's what we've always done. Now,
I'm just,
that's a good discussion
I'm
point.
just saying, because right now we have
Come
something.
in with a project that's less than that. 81 unit
We have 82 bedroom units in the motion.
that we were
What
approving.
happens if they come in with 60, 62 bedroom and 20 1-bedroom?
Then,
Is it approved?
no, they'd have to come back with that proposal
So right now, they're only allowed 82 bedroom units,
up to.
up to 82 bedroom units. If anything changes,
They have
if
to come back
if they
to it.
only have 1-bedroom.
That's the way it's worked in the past, so that's a good
I'm
question.
just trying to make this because now all of a sudden,
Right.
they're just trying to get the capacity, make sure they got their 61,000 gallons per day. I'm assuming.
I can't really speak because you're in work session, but since you're looking at me, in the past, and John can speak if you don't want me to speak, but in the past, we are proposing the bedroom count. But to your point, it is the gallons per day is what supersedes the bedrooms. So we've never come back if we have adjusted from 2 to 1 bedrooms.
Nobody ever.
I know, but I'm
Well,
just
if we
saying,
Come back to staff and we adjust the INI fee.
It never comes back to us.
I agree, but that could be a little bit of a holdup since we approved 82 bedroom units.
On the high side though, right, Jim?
Well, that's why we specify here with a maximum proposal of
Yeah.
82 bedroom.
But
We have always referred to staff to make those adjustments, but your point is well taken. I mean, if we want to change the motion, let's change the motion.
But saying if we're,
Staff has been, they're on a day-to-day basis when it finally gets down to the nuts and bolts. And
I agree,
we are more conceptual.
I agree, but why wouldn't we do it towards gallons per day, not bedroom units? Just throwing out there, because I'm sure you're looking at, sorry, John, I'm sure you're looking at gallons per day for your flow, and then you're just gonna adjust your development.
There's gonna be 1 bedroom units here.
So,
I just want to cover my bases.
I would assume so. And as long as we're okay with the motion and staff's gonna cover it, I'm fine with it, but I'm just, is that could that be a?
Should be for
Line, if you
Yes.
change it.
to whatever 1,000 gallons per day. Is that how we should be doing it then instead?
It's just a.
Technically speaking, if they come back with 42 bedroom and 41 bedroom, the flow's gonna be less.
Right, exactly.
Right now, what we're seeing is worst case scenario. If they came back and said we're putting 63 bedroom
Then
units,
they'd have to come
then there's
back.
a.
It was over.
But at the same time, if
Saying
they
it's a
with
different.
91 bedrooms, that flow is gonna be less than 82 bedrooms. So,
Was proposing that, really. We're erring on the high side of it, right?
You don't have any plans yet, so.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
You know, you're just looking for
But I
gallons per day.
This is where he wanted to start. He wanted to start with the sewer commission. We spoke. So he doesn't have plans, but he wanted to start with.
However,
I
our-
guess it should be.
however our standard has been, but I just saying with the motion,
Well, I don't
They're
like
gonna
it.
have- they're gonna have to come back.
Things.
they're gonna have to come back, with what they have. I'm assuming, because we only approved 80.
So, yeah, maybe it should be reworded to just up to whatever it is, 16,000 something gallons per day.
You gotta make an amendment on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, do we have to shut this down and then?
No, keep, this is open. This is open. second amendment to the motion.
This is the stuff I just forget.
When he makes that amendment, you have to take a vote on the amendment,
So,
and then you bring the motion back. the
so
amendment. Just-
I would make a amendment to your motion because you have 80. Sorry, you have 82 bedroom units
What's the motion? Yeah.
and or up to 61,032.24 gallons per day.
That's multiplied by a factor of 4.
That's correct. That would be the peaking factor.
So we have
So how-
to back that up. Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna get.
Your motion.
Could go.
Let's stick with the up to 82 bedroom units.
I withdraw my motion.
I think that's.
Back to the original motion.
Yeah. Are we good to vote on it then?
Well, you have the discussion.
Any other discussion?
I guess Ron's okay. Yeah, he doesn't, I don't see his finger, he's got a stop sign up. He's okay. Okay, call the vote.
All right, did somebody, so,
Yeah, somebody.
A second.
I second.
right, seconded, so all in favor? Aye, unanimous, all right.
Thank you.
You have trouble with that one, we can see the next one.
That's where I'm going.
Hi, Jim.
Thank you.
Good discussion, but, well, it's,
It could get confusing.
it could get way too confusing.
That might be why we did it. I mean, I can't.
Then you have peaking factor, so what are you approving?
The average gallons per day is what we should be proving, I feel like, now that I'm thinking about
I'm
it.
sure if you get an attorney involved, I'm sure they would say, no, the motion is that.
They gotta.
That's what you have to put.
That's exactly right. That's what you have to build.
That's what you have to
At that point,
build.
Come back.
Anything change.
I think you're right there.
I think if attorney looks at it,
I think you're right there.
that's our motion, that's what.
Is our standards a peaking factor 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Our
I think-
requirement.
I think we would just have to word these with a capacity up to an average daily flow of X gallons per day. That would be the way that.
But how are you gonna legislate it then? 'Cause when they actually put the project up after 3 years, we're gonna measure it or?
Well, no, we would do it based on the design calcs.
Okay,
Those don't change.
I know, but then all of us,
but that's,
What that just comes down to is that whatever it is, so like 161 bedrooms equals 82 bedrooms, we don't care about the actual, what gets put in. It's, we care about the flow, to your point, Chris. It's just how do we actually word that? I think average gallons per day capacity is. But either way, we did it this way. Good with that. All right, so we are now on to 4B, to hear, consider and act on a proposal for a 4-story mixed-use development at 2179, 2199, and 29
that's
Fairfield.
Post Road and then 29 Fairfield Place.
Thank you.
I didn't figure I was gonna say anything. Hi, everyone. Thank you for looking at our application. My name is Mark Andre. I'm the architect and the developer for this project. A long story short, we installed the flow monitors as instructed by the town. We work with John, he helped us, fix some of our little discrepancies. This is a real project. We're not checking to see if we have it. We did a code review, we submitted plans showing, the apartments, the restaurant that we want to do there, the retail, we submitted the architectural, and hopefully with your blessing, we will seal, well, we're not gonna seal, we will go through planning and zoning and see if we can fight for another day. And with that, I also have Pamela, she's the engineer from the firm that we hired, in case if she has had any question, because I'm an architect, I don't know anything. John is my backup. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Any?
Did you want a motion first? Okay.
Right, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Sorry.
What's your motion gonna be for?
Are you just going right into it?
But you want a motion now? Do you want a motion after?
I don't care.
Do you want to put a motion on the table to have a discussion or?
I
It's up
have,
to you.
I have no questions. Does anybody
Okay.
else have?
So let me put a motion to allow the proposed development located at 2179, 2199 Post Road and 29 Fairfield Place for a proposed mixed-use four-story structure consisting of 60 studio units and a commercial floor. It sounds like it's going to be at least a restaurant. To connect to the fair,
Sorry, let me correct that. It's 40 units. We did study for 60, but we're not proposing 60. So I want to make sure you can afford 60, but I just want to make sure on the record, we have capacity for 60.
No.
Thank you.
So it's 40,
40 studio units?
40 units. I think we have 36 one bedroom, 4 studios. We have our office, restaurant, coffee shop, and retail. Yeah. Just don't want you to approve 60 and get us in trouble.
So located at 2179, 2199 Post Road and 29 Fairfield Place for a proposed mixed-use four-story structure consisting of 4 studio and 36 one-bedroom units and a commercial floor, which includes at minimum a restaurant and an office.
The office will be management's office,
Okay,
but we're gonna have retail at the ground floor,
and retail.
coffee shop, retail, management,
Retail.
office. Yeah.
To connect to the Fairfield sewer system, this approval will be valid for 2 years from today. After 2 years, the applicant must reapply for an extended approval. If an extension of the time is requested, the WPCA at its sole discretion may require an updated sewer capacity analysis. The applicant will be required to pay the INI fees in effect at the time the permits are issued. The fixed INI fees will be waived if the permits are issued within the initial 2-year time period.
Second? Chris? Any questions, discussion?
I just have a question for the applicant, Mark.
Yes.
So that, we covered all of that, what you want to do. I think that was on one of your page 3. That was kind of okay with the 36 one bedroom or studio, but then I see you have a pool in here too.
It's not really, it's not your regular pool, it's a endless pool in the, at the roof deck, so you actually swim in place against the current. It's one person at a time.
Okay.
But I guess for your purposes, you would call it, it's like a glorified hot tub, if you want to call it.
And you'd be okay with your gallons per day is 12,282 gallons per day without a peaking factor? Because that's what you have calculated in your sheet here.
We apply the,
This is the same sheet here with the gallons per day.
yeah, and we apply the peaking
The peaking
factor
factor.
here.
So just a question on this one, should you do gallons per day? Without a peaking factor or keep it as the motion? I'm just throwing these out here. That, and maybe just keep it all the same, but.
For today, let's keep it all the same and.
Okay.
I think this is a good idea. I think maybe we should switch it up, but let's keep things consistent for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No further
Can I
questions.
ask a question about the pool specifically?
Yeah.
How does the drainage on that pool, how will that work? I know you said it's a small pool, it's an endless pool, it's not a big Olympic pool, but
Yeah, it's just, it's like a hot tub. It functions no different than a hot tub.
any problem with that? It's not gonna drain into a tank when you have to clean it and whatever. I mean, we've had other pools like that.
Yeah, no, it's not your typical, the way, the endless pool, we actually assemble it, it's prefabricated, like, instead of buying like an oversized hot tub that you hold it up there, the endless pool, they come in parts and we just put it together.
But I'm more concerned with the water coming out of it and when. I mean,
Yeah, I don't,
how frequently are they cleaned? Or, I mean, I know nothing of an endless pool, so does that add to any of our issues with the flow? Maybe that's the question I should be asking. Okay.
Size of that pool, no.
Now, the only other question I might have is, that's a steep slope?
That was Kings Drive.
No. Okay.
Oh, the 6% going
Yeah,
into the less than
It's-
one?
Yeah, but we're okay with that, right?
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Okay. I have no questions. Other than saying, this one's gonna go through that same Thorpe through Wayne pipe, so now I still wanna make sure we've got some.
All right, so, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4C, thank you. Advise of funding for secondary digester cleaning and repair from WPCF operating budget, account line item 59,500 totaling.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I would have loved 16, by the way.
Where's an architect?
$1,281,752.36.
Okay, I'll ask John to substantiate this if necessary, but there was $375,000 budgeted to clean out the second digester. Upon examination of the second digester, it was determined that the lid of that digester was not functioning properly, and that's what raised a lot of concern. So Wright Pierce was hired to do a plan that would permit us to bid out the reworking of that digester once cleaned out. I think we are all aware of what happens if we don't conduct due diligence when we are dealing with the digesters that was released. This was bid out. There were 3 bids. This was the low bid from out of New Jersey, John.
Yeah, SpectraServe, who actually cleaned out the mothballed digester in the mid to late 80s. I witnessed.
So, you had, 375,000 that went into your 59,500 account. And that account had $1,892,305. This bid of $1,281,752 will, come out of that account and go into the 54,301 account, which is your maintenance account. So this is an advisement to let you know that that is what we are proposing at this time. Now, we can't see through the lid and we can't see through the walls, and we're not certain about what really has to be done there. So the plan that was done in the blind. And I would assume they relied a lot on what was done in the first digester in order to determine what would perhaps have to be done in the second one. So I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but this is a worst case scenario.
This is the worst case scenario.
So that's what I'm here to propose or advise of. I will have to take this to the Board of Finance next week and have them do this transfer. So it hasn't been done yet, but we expect to do it Tuesday night. We'll get it on the agenda, present it and explain it the same way. And they are aware of it. They advised me that this is how they wanted to have it done. So this is.
I have one, so worst case scenario, if, we spend less, does that money stay in the maintenance account or does it get transferred back into this?
So we'll issue a purchase order. that account is not a maintenance account, it's like a holding account, a 59,500 account. So you right now would have a minimum of $610 left, no matter what.
Right.
If whatever the shortfall we're hopeful will be from this 1,281,000, will go into, be added to the 610,000.
Okay.
Fund balance.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Just for your benefit, and it might help you with the Board of Finance, that 59,500 account was created about 2 years ago by Jared. What that $1.8 million in there is the difference between our revenue and the expenses, and that $1.8 million is the overflow from our revenue that should go into the fund. So basically, what John is saying is we're gonna use our fund balance to pay for this, which is absolutely fine, but it might be an easier way to explain it to the Board of Finance. John, that's up to you how you want to do it.
Well, the Board of Finance is well aware of what
Okay.
this is.
Okay.
I don't, it's in the budget again.
Yep.
I really
No
don't
problem.
know how it gets done.
Right.
They will guide us as to how they want to handle it. And
Absolutely.
We have a discussion with the chairman of the Board of Finance, and this is the path that they have determined we should take in concert with the comptroller and and Frank at budget and David, COO. So I am just advising you, and I'm letting you know I will be before the Board of Finance. And this is no surprise to them.
Thank you. Any other questions?
When is this supposed to get done?
That's a good question.
So we have to issue a purchase order. Right? I mean, has a purchase order for the cleaning been issued, John? No. So when this money is in place, we can issue a purchase order. And as soon as the purchase order, we'll be able to commence.
Just- Should we be doing any air monitoring beforehand and then during, just, we know what's gonna come up?
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Builder's been notified already.
We had a scope meeting the other day.
Okay.
They understand, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about.
Yeah.
We met with SpectraServe the other day. We kind of laid out the groundwork. They kind of know the process. And as soon as we can give them a notice to proceed, we will.
Okay,
And they have everything they need to start the cleaning. That's what they do.
I just wanna make sure at least, because we know what happens when they bail with the neighbors, I just wanna make sure at least the town. Whenever they smell a smell, they're probably gonna blame us again, I don't know if it's worth it.
They'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
John, is there a specific time of year that it's better to clean that? You know, they're obviously pumping out and putting it in a truck and carting it away maybe. Is there any, not summertime, I hope? What is that?
What they're going to do right now, what they're going to do in the near future is exactly what we're doing right now. The dewatering equipment they're going to use is a screw press. It's more enclosed. We've got the odor control people that are doing the stuff at the plant now are going to add a little temporary thing by their unit to spray. So there's no raw sludge. It's going to be little impact, if any.
Yeah, this has no impact on the primary digester. So the primary digester is not being taken offline or doing anything like that.
They use a truck to cart the stuff away, or is it just slow it down? Will they use a truck to cart the sludge away, or is it just go
It
through?
goes right into a dump trailer and off it goes. Won't sit there, it goes.
So this
That's
doesn't
good.
require any votes. And Mr. Chairman, in the spirit of reporting on construction, I would just like to advise you also that the bid date for the Phase 1 and Phase 2 East Trunk Wetland Crossing has been extended by a month. We had a robust turnout for the original meeting of contractors. We had 9 contractors show up for that Phase 1, Phase 2 project. I think that was very heartening. And, but they all indicated it was too complex to be able to bid in merely 30 days. So
Okay.
purchasing determined that that was a valid concern and extended that bid date till late in June. I don't know the exact date. And the remaining of the work is ongoing. The four pumps, the three pump stations that we have talked about, and the other four pump stations also are being examined. Every pump station is, other than the Stratfield Road pump station, which we've completed. And the INI program is also progressing for the phase 5 remediation. So that's where we are.
I had a quick conversation with Dennis just the other day, and the phase 5 stuff, he has assembled a team at his firm. They had a kickoff meeting, and they're gonna get into it, but we're at step 1, so.
Which is, what is step 1?
Assembling the team, looking at all the stuff that they had compiled, and then formulating a plan as to how much has to be grouted, how much has to be whatever, dig, whatever. They're just trying to amass all that into one big package.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, phase 5 is design of the identified.
correct.
Okay, yeah, just making sure I remember that.
And the last thing is, and again, this is just for discussion, the hydraulic modeling. Yeah. So, we have every expectation that we will be either awarding that if we have some capable, competent people we could bring in an interview, at least 2 or 3, or we would ask to issue an RFQ. Either way, that will be another project that we will be following up with. Do you have a target date for those flow monitors?
I'm still waiting on the purchase order, so that should be here by the end of the week, so.
Okay, good.
Okay,
And
so,
I've been in contact with Joe at Smart Cover, and he's ready to go, so.
Okay.
so we will want to have some backlog of historical data
Yeah, exactly.
to be able to place in
The more data, the better for calibrating.
Yeah. So, and maybe even full seasons, not years, but I mean, summer full. Summer, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's also commencing pretty shortly.
Next. Right.
So you got pump stations, INI, the modeling, some plant work, and then the wholesale issue of how the plant gets addressed is still unborn.
Pump stations are all still in evaluation, or is
Yeah.
Fairfield Beach, so they haven't started any design work,
Fairfield Beach has been authorized for design,
but they haven't really,
but no, they're
Yep.
evaluating.
Wanted to make sure.
At this point, hasn't really gotten that far, and the actual design is forecasted to be done closer to the end of the year.
okay. Do you know schedule wise when they plan on wrapping up evaluation?
They were here last week, did drawdown tests on the pumps on the wet well. There was a gentleman that went down in with some kind of apparatus on his head, and they did some kind of 3D imaging,
Okay,
and they did structural stuff, so they're working.
okay.
My guess is approval and permitting for that are going to be pickles.
Yeah.
I think when we get to the application of FEMA elevation, concert with whatever design they're going to put forward, along with DEEP, approvals, our own, of course, internal approvals. And conservation. That's gonna be what drags us up. I think the the design is pretty forthright, and the issue of cosmetics, appearance of it, are, yeah, that might, hopefully it won't take a long time, but we got every, we'll satisfy the people down.
House.
They want a
I
lighthouse.
heard that.
That's what they wanted. Make it look like a lighthouse. If we can. If we can.
Any additional questions on current projects? All right, item 6, status update on sewer bypass.
Okay. 323. That was the 3.12 deluge. We had bypasses at 192 Lynbrook, 500 gallons. And then between Haley Avenue, Berwick, Grassmere and Kings Highway, Home Street, Holland Hill Road, Woodside Avenue, 2070 Kings Highway, about 30,000 gallons bypassed. And then again on 4.3, we had a storm, 122 Haley Avenue, about 5,000 gallons, and 133 Berwick, 1,000 gallons. And on 417 on Sasko Hill Road, where the Country Club of Fairfield put a force main in. And then after that, there was another force main put in behind them, so to speak. The contractor put in curb boxes for all the homes on that road. So if they wanted to tie their sewer system, their septic into the sewer system, they had a curb box there. There was one leaking at 945. There was a little bit of a question as to who owns it. The homeowner is not connected to it. But John Clancy got our guys out there. We stayed on it. It was leaking into a catch basin. We sucked it all out. It never made it to the sound, and it was repaired. And right now it's illegal as to who owns it and who's responsible, but it's all taken care of, no environmental impact.
That's good.
And that is all for bypasses.
You know what caused it? What caused the issue?
It was a leak right at the curb box, actually. It's,
So it's a curb box because it's a force main?
That's my understanding.
yeah, the curb box, yeah. It's slow, it's steadily gotten worse. That's where.
No, but what I'm saying is normally you would just put a lateral in.
Right, but because it's a force
Because
main,
it's a force main, it was something like a.
One way.
Right.
One way valve.
Yeah,
They just repaired the valve right there. That's where they found it.
valve.
Luckily, they found it. They found it right at the curb, right there, before they had to go into the lateral.
So the question of who owns that,
That's still,
that's connected to.
that's still what I'm looking into, John, so.
Phil's on it too, Phil Piers.
You know, we're still,
Why don't we own it? I'm not saying, isn't that,
well,
I'm not,
yeah, exactly.
put it in.
Back,
We own it.
We accepted it.
yeah, but that's the key.
So we own it.
When we took it over in the street a few years back, about 5 years, we did the inspection on it. So at that point, I don't think we have much of a legal, and there's more than one. There were 7, 9,
Yeah.
okay,
9.
9.
Yeah.
Okay, so there could be on each one of those, if they've used the same equipment,
Mhm.
not a,
They're all the same.
they're all the same, so that could be, I think we're gonna own that at the end of the day. Of course, we took it over, theoretically, we inspected it before we took it on.
Confer with the town.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I'm just giving you some history as to the way we at the commission approved it. They were to put it in, they were to turn it over to us. The legal document said we had the right to inspect it, and then it would be turned over to us. That's the history of it. I'm not saying anything else.
Just, if it's under legal review, just, you know,
Let's leave it there.
it's kind of like,
Leave it there. I'm just giving you history.
Item number 7, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
you want anything else more?
My rage ranges.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.